Hello, my absolutely beautiful Scorpio friends, and welcome to your horoscope for November of 2023, where Scorpio this month, not only do we have the first new moon after the eclipse season, after a long time of energies happening from the South Node in Scorpio, we've got the first new moon after the eclipse in your sign, but we've also got Saturn coming direct this month, and we have got a few weeks of all of the planets in terms of the personal planet energies being direct. They're not in pre or post retrograde shadow time. So we've got a couple weeks here until the 25th where there is some straight game, move it forward, make decision, action kind of energies. And that is good news. We want to take advantage of that. So keeping in mind that before we jump into this monthly forecast, that we have got some beautiful offers from our friends over at Wise Skies Collective for your digital transit calendar. Use my code that's in the description box down below. Get $10 off, and it is so cool because this is a labor of love Tiffany has put together, and she puts it together every year so that every week, every day, you know exactly what is going on in the cosmos. She tells you the transits that are happening, and you can have it come right to your phone, and it is a really, really cool tool. I definitely have it, so it's something I believe in, and I would love for you guys to have as well. Click in the description box down below to take advantage. All right, Scorpio, let's jump in here and talk about what this month has to offer. Now, first and foremost, I do want to make note that from the beginning of this month, moving all the way to November 25th, this is where we've got this full personal planets are not in any kind of shadow direction. So really, if you need to make decisions as Mercury moves into Sagittarius, as Venus moves into Libra this month, you know, things you've been working on behind the scenes related to your money. If you've had tinglings of things going on, now is the time where you can make some of those decisions to get some things moving forward. When we do get to the 25th of November, we're going to see Mercury take the retrograde, take the position of pre-retrograde shadow, and we're going to look at that between 22 degrees of Sagittarius and 13 degrees of Capricorn as we do the Mercury retrograde cycle, okay? So just keep that in mind going into the month. All right, right here at the beginning of the month on the 4th, we've got Saturn moving direct in the energy of Pisces. Now, this is beautiful because, first of all, we can really do a lot of tracking on this particular transit. So first of all, we see Saturn coming direct at 0 degrees of Pisces, but we also saw Saturn move to 0 degrees of Pisces, March of 2023. So what was going on for you, especially in the 5th house around children, joy, play, pleasure, taking something and you're beginning it, or there is a new chapter or a new beginning, right? Even you as a child to your parents. What was happening in this particular area for you? Because Saturn being retrograde, and especially coming to that 0 degrees, it's hitting it again, which is an anaretic degree. So it's really energetically concentrated, right? So what's been happening here is it's like there's been a strategy, there's been a structure that's needed to be really relooked at. But in the energy of Pisces, it's been like, I got to trust my intuition on this a little bit. Where is your intuition clearer now than it was in March? You know, where are you feeling like you understand where you have to stop talking about trusting your gut, and now you actually have to trust your gut and go be about it? Because now as Saturn is out of retrograde, you do know yourself and your intuition a little bit better. What is it that has been calling you intuitively to move forward? Because this is the idea during the retrograde, is that you mastered some of that intuition, okay? And truly, if you've been out there, Scorpio, feeling like, Stormie, listen, I haven't really moved everything forward. I haven't moved anything forward, you know, that's okay. Because I think that when we keep in mind that Saturn is not just a personal energy, but it also governs our communities, our societies, our governments, things like that. Things could have felt really frozen or like they were just standing still, kind of this stagnant energy. And I do believe that the last eclipse in Taurus that happened at the end of October, paired with the Saturn coming direct, all of this works in a really nice mix to have creative inspiration and things like that move forward so that you can take action. So it is coming around the river bend, I promise. Okay, when we get to the 8th, we see Venus moving into the energy of Libra, where she is in domicile. So wonderfully comfortable, feeling wonderfully productive in this particular place. But this also means that in the energy of Libra, it's going to light up your 12th house space, okay? So first of all, truly, because Libra is a relationship planet, when Venus comes here, the relationshiping or the business of relationships, whether it's romantic, partnership, business, whatever, usually goes a little bit easier, right? It's a little bit more pleasant to have the connections. However, the other thing that I still want to keep in mind is that Venus in the 12th can show up as Venus in the 12th, that it's like, have you been thinking about other people? You are committed to your relationship, but you've been kind of having that wandering eye, or you're looking around, or even if it's a business partnership, right? This can be a call to get your attention, instead of saying, yes, have that affair, yes, quit your job, get a new one, to look around at where you need to bring more of that love in, where you need to bring more of the harmony and the beauty and the charm and the compromise into a relationship in some way, so that you don't get lost in the sauce and make decisions from the 12th house perspective that were not really the ones that you wanted to make. Now, the other thing I think about it is just in terms of relationships, even if your relationship is to your work, okay? Where do you need a break? You need a break. You need to have a little mini getaway. You're like, I feel like I'm stuck creatively because all I'm doing is going. I'm not working, or I'm just working. Or even if you are growing in a relationship and you're like, we've been growing for a really long time and I need a break. I need to create. I need to go put my head in the sand. I need to lay my body on the sand or in the water, or whatever it is you do for you, Scorpio. That is okay. That is okay. Sometimes we need to have a rest so that we can, it's this dance with whatever it is that we're growing and experiencing. It's the dance between peace, and we're resting, we're relaxing, we're assimilating what has come from here. We're doing it usually behind the scenes, and growth, which is we're practicing all of the things are coming to the surface. So whatever you need during this Venus in Libra season and time, please take it on. And if it just means that you're writing poetry behind the scenes, that is absolutely more than enough. Now on November 10th, we're going to see Mercury move into the energy of Sagittarius, okay? So now we've got the planet of details, and yes, I understand we want world peace, but how are we going to achieve that? You know what I mean? It's the planet Mercury bringing new information and new details on how we're going to solve things to Sagittarius, the energy that wants to think big, go big, the big picture of things, right? That archer is pulling the arrow back because it's like, I'll pull this arrow really far back. I will pull my thinking, my beliefs really far back and look at it so that when I release that arrow, it goes as far as it can. So Mercury is bringing you, Scorpio, new information on your finances, on your money, on how you make money, on the big plans that maybe you have around money. Now, the sun is also going to move into Sagittarius, and Mars is going to move into Sagittarius as well as we get just a couple weeks down the road. So I'm telling you, this is an action-packed area for you to be getting new perspective that will allow you to have a better view and make different decisions and integrate what you know now into the big picture of your changing financial picture, which is a big deal. And hopefully, Scorpios, it's been birthday time. We've been doing Scorpio season. You have said to yourself, okay, for my next go around, my next solar return here, what do I want to achieve financially? The South Node has also been traveling through your sign. There's a lot of the things that you thought made you or how it had to be that have probably been swept away. And I hope that they left space for, a little bit of a different palette in your mouth, some different flavors in ways that you can go actualize this and maybe even minimize needing to do it in such a controlled way, and instead releasing just a little bit, release like a Sagittarius and let this area of your chart become powered, okay? On the 13th, we've got the new moon happening in your sign. Now this moon's going to be at 20 degrees, so please make sure that you are looking that up, looking that up in your particular chart, because as we're going to experience this particular moon, a moon in your sign is, first of all, a chance to plant your seeds of intention. Plant your seeds of intention. What do you want to build next? Who are you aspiring to be? You have been, I'm telling you, with this nodal work, you have been through some changes. You've been through some changes. So sometimes what happens at the end of the change is that you're there and you're like, I might be actually having like a little crisis of who I am, right? You've had things change in your belief structure. So where are you practicing some assimilation, some acceptance of who you are now, how things are going to be, maybe the way you want to change your body, how your body's changing, these kinds of things that are very first house. You have the chance here with this moon in Scorpio, this new moon, to plant your seeds of intention to begin something new here. And whether it be in your physical appearance, whether it be a project that you want to start or you want to put yourself out there, where I think that you get a lot of help from this particular full moon to plant these seeds of intention is that this particular moon is in conjunction with Mars, one of your ruling planets. Your other ruling planet, Pluto, is direct, so we don't have retrograde hindrance there. And it also is opposing Uranus. So it tells us there's a little bit of spice in the water. In order for you to take you in a different direction, there's going to need to be some flexibility. There has to be some flexibility, right? There's going to have to be, at this particular moon, an ability or a willingness, even a willingness to innovate how you have seen yourself, to innovate, your perspective at this particular time. So as we're experiencing this moon and you've got these 4 planets and they're in this conversation, and this lunation is just bringing to your consciousness as well what you're willing to commit to, what you're willing to make a priority out of. And if you really look at this moon, Scorpio, since like September, just back up to September, what was really important in September? And now you're like, you know what, that's actually not like my biggest priority. And you've seen that you have some space because those things weren't the biggest thing for you to deal with. And now you see that you're like, no, my goal is actually to go this way. And I'm willing to innovate and evolve in order to get in that direction. This particular moon is your chance to plant those seeds of intention, okay? When we get to the 22nd, we see the sun enter into Sagittarius. Then on the 24th, Mars comes into the energy of Sagittarius. So it is an action-packed second house for you. Sagittarius season is nothing short of, first of all, lightening you up, right? For all of us, Sagittarius season is about lighten up. Let's take a big step. Let's be easy. Let's just be a little bit easier with ourselves. Let's be a little bit easier with this particular energy. Now, I do think that this particular Sagittarius season has a little spice to it because we've also got Saturn in Pisces. So here we've got 2 mutable energies that on their own can just worry about things, and the worry is not actually very useful. It's just worrisome. But here, I think that this lets you ground down, feeling secure in trusting your intuition, trusting this new version of yourself, trusting the way that you want to make decisions around your money or what you value in terms of priorities. And you can feel a bit more grounded, and that it's like the discipline of Saturn there being about it allows you to actually have the freedom to enjoy, Sagittarius, what this season has to offer you. So go on the adventure and trust your intuition because it is grounded in some Saturnian energy, okay? Remember on the 25th, we're going to take that Mercury pre-retrograde shadow time beginning at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. We will see the Mercury retrograde actually happen in December at 8 degrees of Capricorn, and we'll discuss more of the Mercury retrograde then. But for you, keeping in mind to start paying attention what's showing up around the 25th in that Sagittarius and Capricorn areas of your chart, because this will be the work we will be assigned for homework as we take the Mercury retrograde. Okay, as we close out this month on November 27th, we've got a full moon happening at 4 degrees of Gemini. So as this full moon is happening, first of all, the full moon is asking us to end something acknowledge something or to make an adjustment here, okay? Now, this particular moon is still in conversation with Mars. The sun is involved. There's a square to Saturn that's happening here. So this particular full moon has the indicator of, there is something in the way here. There is a blockage or maybe something unexpected that you weren't, like what I really think it is it's like one set of information is happening over here. It's very Gemini, like here's the story, here's what's unfolding over here. But at the same time and in the same breath, there's a whole other story happening over here. So you've got these two different things and they don't actually match up energetically or informationally. So you're having to find the sweet spot, that's what an opposition is, in the middle to try to make sense or to try to make a move forward with the information you've been delivered. Now, this is going to be lighting up your 8th house space. So we've got the other side, we've got intimacy and assets. So first of all, if there is something going on in a partner's money or something that you are connected to financially, right? Especially if there's something that you are connected to financially that has to do with learning or something like that, be prepared for for it to need to look really different than maybe you thought it was going to, or you're having to, you realize that you need to make a different financial decision, right? This could be something that definitely comes up there. Now, from a business perspective, I would not be launching any new investments at this particular moon or in the days that follow, within the 8 to 10 hours that actually follow this. I would not be making any investments because they just stand a chance of not being as strong as you think that they will be. Now, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think whether it's an intimate thing or an asset that changes directions or that you have this information that doesn't quite match up, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think that where it needs to be in the sweet spot in the middle, you'll find yourself. But it is a time to just pay a little bit of attention to what's going on there, okay? Because even if you're like, no, I'm ready, I want to get this, I'm taking the lead. At this particular moon, it's like, well, hold on, you just couldn't plan for this whole other roadblock that presented itself. So it's not a failure, it's not a step back, it's just a let's see where we need to integrate information to get the best thing going that is available for you. All right, my absolutely beautiful Scorpio friends, I hope you have a good rest of your birthday season. I hope you have an awesome all of November, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Bye, Scorpio.